This is the Russian Dynamite, Masha Slamovich.
Becca here.
This is not America's sweetheart, Davian. And
It's Billy Starks. And
the super fly guy, Trayvon Jordan.
This is the fly side flyer, Jalen Brandon.
Hardcore Princess, Jules Malone.
Hi there, this is the Bubblegum Princess, Alexia Nicole.
This is the Brazilian Wonder Woman, Christy Jane.
This is the baddest black belt, Chennai Kai.
This is Kid Bandit.
The smash hit, Joel Bateman.
This is Robin Renegade.
Cody Hawk.
Brutal Bob Evans. And you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment, one of my favorite podcasts in the whole wide world.
My name is Heimo, the Wild Man. I am the son of the Thunder God. I am the last of the Vikings. And you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Yeah, buddy.
Hello, and welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, the only audio experience on the web today, the trusted choice for interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Tuesday and Wednesday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. I'm, of course, your host, James J., and it's a great day for wrestling, because we are wrestling with the Wild Man, Heimo!
Thank you.
How are you today?
How are you doing? I'm fine, yeah. We had a little bit of winter this week was doing a little bit of a heel push, but now the spring seems to have coming up with the babyface comeback, so all is good. It's been a sunny day.
Unfortunately, summer just came in with a hot heel turn for us here in California.
Oh no.
Yeah, it just kind of came in like out of nowhere, and it's been like really hot for the last like couple of days, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well.
But
we gotta wait for the hope spot.
Yeah. Where is the Wild Man running wild next event-wise? Can you hear me?
I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
Yeah, no worries.
Now I can hear you.
Where is the Wild Man running wild next event-wise?
May 24th here in Helsinki, so it's gonna be the summer holiday seasons are starting to roll, so we're gonna have pretty much the whole summer full of wrestling here in Finland. So it's gonna be a cool summer.
Okay, so May 3rd and you said May 3rd and what was the second date? I apologize.
24th.
And that's for
That's May. Those are the next ones confirmed.
Okay, and that's for FCF?
That's for the. Yeah, that's FCF. Right.
Okay. And where can we find you on social media and your merchandise?
Well, my social media is on the what you call it, the Instagram thingy. It's just Wildman Heimo. And with the Heimo the Wild Man, you can find it on the Facebook and all those stuff.
Alright. Well, and you don't have to go looking for it. All of the links to all his social media will be in the description of the video below, put on YouTube and Castbox.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and all the Finnish wrestling stuff is just on wrestling.fi. You can find that stuff there also, if you're interested in the Finnish scene.
Perfect. Let's get into it. You were actually the first ever SLAM wrestling champion. First person to hold both the SLAM Pro Wrestling Championship and the FCF Championship. Starting off, what did it kind of mean to you to be the first ever SLAM championship wrestling?
It was a big deal to me, of course, and a big honor because, like, Slam wrestling has always brought in very, very talented guys all over from Europe and the world, and it's like there's a lot of really professional talent that's gone through. So there's so many other options that you could go with. But so I was honored that I was trusted to be the first ever Slam champion, and I really enjoyed that one as well, because I got the chance to work with great opponents and had a few great matches on there. At least that's what I think. So it was a big deal for me, and a really fun run. And of course, it's always cool to make kind of history, as you say, first ever. So nobody can take that away from me.
No, absolutely. And obviously first person to hold the FCF championship and Slam Wrestling championship as well.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, only I believe Starbucks done that as well. So,
Yeah,
in good company.
at the moment, yeah, we both companies. Yeah. That was if you think about the title design and FCF, we first had the older strap that we had, then it got renewed, or not the title, but the belt itself. So I'm the only one who has held the old belt and the new belt on FCF, and then the Slam belt as well. So gotta try to push anything you can when you can, you know.
No, I mean absolutely.
It's not a big deal, but it's sometimes fun to think about things like that.
I beg to differ. I'd say that it's a big deal. You know, obviously Slam Wrestling is where it is right now, and you know, FCF, you know, very established. So,
Yeah.
you know, and you were the first champion for Slam. So, I mean, it's always going to be there.
Yeah. I think like now it's a really cool moment for Finnish wrestling, because we have FCF is doing great and Slam is doing great, and both are like super active at the moment, and we got loads of talented people, and who because they keep getting more chances to work, they get more experienced and better all the time. So I think this is like the best time to be a wrestling fan or in Finland than ever. Oh, like Slam just did their first show in Sweden, and then that went really well. And FCF had a show yesterday that sold out. So things are looking good for the Finnish wrestling scene, and the whole summer is going to be packed with Slam and FCF shows all over the country. So I think this is a great time if somebody is interested to maybe become a wrestler or a referee, or just to work in the live entertainment scene in Finland in any role. So it's like the best time to hop on if you're interested in that.
Oh, yeah.
I think there's a lot of good stuff coming.
Now, winning the championship, is that a moment you take in the moment, or is that something that kind of sets in afterwards, like, wow, I did this?
Yeah, I think it's, of course, there's always the moment when you win it. It's a great moment, of course. And it's like, people say that championships don't matter in our sport, but they do matter, and it's not like if it's promoted smartly, the championship is not just put on some random people. You have to earn it in a way that the company sees that you can be someone that can be marketed and can be relied on to put on good matches, and can be relied on that they can work with anybody pretty much. So it is a sign of trust, and it's something that you earned. And the more prestige the championship is, like, the smarter it's being promoted. So of course it's a big deal. And it's I don't think it's like that. If I like go home and like go pride being the champion, but it is a duty and it's a big responsibility, and I think I've held my end of that responsibility on my championship runs. So, yeah, it is a big deal to me. It's a really cool moment, of course, when it happens. I'm just hoping that maybe one day there's a chance to grab those tag team championships at some point. That's something that I've always liked, tag team matches. Something different, that's different dynamic. I've always enjoyed the tag team matches, so maybe at some point I get a chance to do a run with the tag titles. I would really like that.
Oh yeah.
And it's always nice when you're doing a tag. It's nice when you're doing a tag match. You can tag out and rest a little bit and let the other boys work. So.
Well, you had the pleasure of wrestling Zach Knight of the very established Knight family. Can you tell us about that experience?
Yes.
Wrestling him?
Well, I think people like that who have been like, of course, doing this for a living for a long time. Then they was, of course, really easy to work with and easy to get along. So, yeah, cool experience. Okay. Easy to put the matches together and stuff. So that's cool. Cool night at the office, I'd say.
Well, maybe this was a cool night at the office. You not too long ago wrestled Vegan Thunderbolt. Obviously you're a very established name in, Finland, and he's been a very established name in Sweden. It's crazy that it was, I believe, your first match against him, no?
Yeah, it was. And so I've known Vegan for many years, but from the early part of his career, I brought him over to Finland, and I've been over to Sweden many times, training seminars and stuff like that, and I really respect and like the guy. Yeah, in personal life as well, I consider him a dear friend. So, yeah, it was cool. It's always cool to wrestle guys that you know and like and trust, because then you always put a little extra stiffness in them. It's always good. Yeah, but that was nice. I think Vegan is a bright future ahead of him. Works hard and keeps getting all these opportunities in Sweden and Denmark and Norway and Finland and over in Europe. And he's got the look and he's got the drive, and I'm sure he's going to be good. Yeah, but that's true. It was the first time we wrestled each other, but hopefully not the last. I'm ready for it. Anytime, any day. I'd love to work in. No worries.
Sounds like you kind of identify with him when it comes to the hard-hitting part of the match.
Well, I think with my stuff, I've always tried to keep it snug, but I think sometimes people are kind of surprised after they wrestled me that it wasn't so stiff as they thought. So I think that's a compliment on their behalf. So maybe my stuff looks good, as it should.
Oh, definitely. Another interesting match you had was with a one Tommy Dreamer. It was a triple threat. What was that experience like, being in the ring with obviously an extreme legend like Dreamer?
I've had a couple of these chances now to work these guys who were like was like a teenager and my most hardcore wrestling fandom phase before I started working in CW, like Super Crazy and Tommy Dreamer and Tajiri and those guys. I had the chance to work them in the ring and met many of those guys in the locker rooms. So it's always like you don't kind of like think of it at the moment when you're in the ring. You're focused on the match, focused on your work like in any other match. But afterwards, it's always a cool thing to think, wow, I get to work this guy that has been my hero back in the day. So of course it's a cool moment, but you can't really like you can't like pan out or mark out when you're doing the match or building the match, working the match. Afterwards, I've been thinking, yeah, that was a pretty cool moment. And I think like many of these trips I've been to Germany, they have this tradition of running these so-called legends shows. So they are pretty popular there. So there's been a lot of opportunities there to not just work with these established legendary guys, but also just to like when you get to share a locker room with people like that who have done this for a living or made a profession out of professional wrestling. So you just like you learn so much just by like listening to them and watching them and asking them questions. So always when there's a chance to work on a card with these legendary established guys, it's always a really good positive experience to me.
Now, we spoke about you being the first Slam wrestling champion. You also have the distinct honor of being the first ever ladder match in Finland history as well against Stock Adder. What was that experience like, and what did that mean to you to be the first ladder match in Finland?
Yeah, well, like we talked about, it's always cool to think back that like we did the first of something for history's sake. I think it was a nice match and worked well. And well, luckily it's been a few years back, because now I'm an older guy. I don't think I'd want to take those bumps from the ladder anymore. So I'm glad it's done. It's done and it's in the books, and maybe they'll stay there. So yeah, but it was a cool experience. Pretty solid match that we got to. There's no regrets about that. Yeah, of course, it's a cool thing to be the first. The first thing that I can remember of just this, I don't know what you call it, called katiska in Finnish. It's like this wire mesh fish trap that you put into the lake, and the fish swim into it and they can't get out. So I was the first ever to use that in a hardcore match. That's something, I guess.
Well,
that's something I sometimes think about back. It was a pretty fun, cool moment.
Oh yeah. And, obviously Stark is a, established name in Finland as well. I believe he was one of your coaches as well.
Yes.
Could you tell us about, your relationship with Stark?
Well, it's always that it was like the first batch of the first homebrew Finnish wrestlers who've been like trained in Finland by by Finnish, well not Finnish, but by Starkadder, who's half Finnish and half Canadian, and so of course he's one of the father figures of the whole thing here in Finland, and he also like participated in the first ever Finnish wrestling match, like the first independent show held in Finland. So it's in the opener match, in a tag match. So that's a pretty cool thing. And yeah, when I started training, he was my trainer, and very good one. I think the lesson that he taught us that I really stuck up with me all the time is he said that in this sport you have to trust your opponent, and your opponent has to be worthy of that trust. So those are some of the words I always rely back to working a match. And yeah, I've known him for almost 20 years now, and I consider him a very dear friend, and I think that praises to say about him and all the stuff he's done for the Finnish wrestling, not just like that working the matches, but he's also been like instrumental part of training the bulk of the guys and girls who have been working longer now, and those people who are basically the backbone of the Finnish wrestling, or have been for years. So, yeah, he's had a huge part in bringing those people up, and with the training and the motivation, and being the kind of like this father figure kind of wrestler he is. I think like one thing I kind of regret or something, not regret, but I think going back to that tag team thing, I think me and Starkadder as a tag team was kind of like a lost opportunity. We've tagged several times together as a team, but it's always been like this one off, so I think we could have had a good tag team run, because we didn't work so well together. So I think that's something that I would really like to do still someday.
So looking more towards teaming with Stark rather than having another match against him.
Yeah, I think it would be like it's a perfect match. We both have this kind of like this personal gimmick, and the other one is the smaller fire technician, and the other is the bigger brawler brute. So it's a perfect match, I think, as a tag team.
I mean, you're definitely due for another.
Had quite a few.
I would say you're definitely due for another encounter with Stark. The last time you've been in the ring with him was in 2020, so 5 years ago.
Oh, it's been that long.
Yeah.
Time flies, eh?
Definitely.
It's that long, really.
Speaking of time flying.
Yeah, definitely we gotta do some more.
You actually competed in a match against Kushida and Super Crazy in Japan. Could you tell us about, wrestling, obviously,
Yes.
the legend Super Crazy, and obviously in Japan, one of the big three when it comes to pro wrestling?
Yeah, I think it was also like a very, very chill, very cool guy he's done everything, done it for a while, so really helped putting the match together. And I was still a young boy back then, so he helped with the match. And like we said, one of those bucket list matches that we look back to it was insane that I got super crazy. So, and in Tokyo nonetheless. So, and it was like I can't remember how many people there were. There were hundred or thousands of people watching. So, very very cool experience. That's a hardcore match with super crazy in Japan, Tokyo. Can't get better than that for me. Definitely a career highlight for me.
What was it like?
And looking back to...
Oh, continue. I cut you off.
Yeah, I usually don't stream. I don't really watch my matches often afterwards because all I see is my mistakes, so it's hard to watch. But that one I think was pretty cool match. Looking back to it, so I'm happy that.
What was it kind of like wrestling in Japan compared to wrestling in Finland?
I think, well, of course, it's different because maybe we don't have so much a common language. You know, English is not my native tongue or their native tongue, so maybe communicating could be a little bit harder. But other than that, I think everybody was there like super cool, and everybody was working towards a great match and making everything work. And Smash was a new company back then, and everybody had this really. Yeah, I was like, there's in Germany, there is this the biggest heavy metal festival in Europe called Wacken, and they needed somebody, or the promoter wanted somebody with the Viking style look, and they found me and contacted me, and would you like to do the festival? And I'm a big metalhead myself, so it's like, hell yeah, I want to do it. And ended up doing it for 6 years in a row, I think, the heavy metal festival there. Anyways, that's where I met one of the English legends, Robbie Brookside, and I think maybe the 2 or 3 years we worked Wacken, I think then he became like the trainer and talent scout for WWE, and he started like arranging tryouts for European guys, and he asked me if I wanna do it, and of course I said like, of course I wanna do it, I got nothing to lose. And he arranged the tryout for in London O2 Arena in England. There was maybe 10, 12 guys and girls that were there. We did like 2 days of training. William Regal training us, and Robbie Brookside as the co-trainer. I think on the first day, so Monday, they made us do all those blowout drills, grind us down, and then they did the raw show on that evening. And then like on the second day of training, we worked matches against each other, like the people who were in the tryout group, and then like then we did photo shoots and did video promos, and after that it started like the SmackDown taping started. I changed to the suit and watched the show, and then they called me that they need me for something, so I went and changed back to my wrestling gear, and they took us to the docking bay or wherever where we were shooting, and they just said that we got this idea that we do this skit with Booker T and the Misfit crew he was with there. We did that cool little segment there, and they aired it in that night in the SmackDown show in the O2 Arena, so that was pretty cool. There was probably like 40,000 people or whatever there at that show. So that's a pretty cool moment. That was like the story behind that WWE, like 10 years. So I can still say I'm the only Finnish guy who's been working for the WWE, so that's still pretty cool to me. Really, really fun 2 days, and of course really hard, but with the training. But again, just like listening to William Regal and him explaining stuff, how it's done and how they do their stuff, and what are the reasons that they do their stuff the way that they do. So it was really eye-opening and a super learning experience. So, and again, I got to spend a few nights in London, so in a hotel. So yeah, really positive experience and a cool moment. Really, it's again one of those things when you bring those old matches and old spots like that back, I reminisce on them. It feels kind of surreal. I don't really think about that stuff on a day-to-day basis, so now it just feels like maybe I've done some cool stuff back in the day. It was pretty cool.
And another first as well.
Yeah, I guess.
What did it kind of mean to you to be in that segment with Booker T? And obviously, he wasn't the only one there. Great Khali, Natalia, primetime players. Like, it was a stacked, segment. There was a lot of people in it.
Yeah, and of course, like, my biggest fandom when I was, like, growing up. So, of course, this ECW stuff and the Attitude Era, and Booker T was always, of course, a big player in that time period. So of course I was a big fan and really cool. But again, to get to see some of those people you looked up your whole life to, and get to work with them even for a brief moment like that. So, yeah, really cool.
And you mentioned, Robbie Brookside, absolute legend. You got to be in the ring with him, for a match. What was that experience like wrestling Robbie?
Of course, it was really cool, but in that festival that we worked with, like the segments were really fast. Because of course there's bands playing and everything, so everything is a very strict timeline. So those matches at the festival were usually like maybe 5 to 7 minutes or something, like the quick matches and just to maybe get the segment done so in time, because they were of course really tight on the schedule that you can't miss the time. So that was also a very good learning experience when you get to bigger productions like those big festivals, and then the time is of essence. You cannot go overtime at any cost. So of course that's good learning experience. And it was of course really cool to get to lock up with somebody so esteemed guy as Robbie Brookside, who'd been like doing it for a living when I was like still like a toddler. So pretty cool experience. But with just a couple of short matches that we did together, but still pretty cool. And then again like met Robbie in Germany on different promotions as well, and we got to bring him over to Finland to do two-day show and a training seminar for us, and trained with him for 2 days and did the show, and he stayed over at my house during that time. So
oh wow,
that was really cool experience, and it was really cool because like we bonded over this Finnish punk metal music, punk rock music, because he was a big fan of the Finnish scene back in the 70s. And I like that kind of jam as well. So, yeah, I consider him a friend as well. So it was a really cool person, and nothing but positive memories of my encounters with Robbie. So.
All right. I think it's time for that segment once again. Heimo's Bizarre Adventure. You're a pro wrestler that goes up and down the roads, and weird, crazy, and bizarre things are bound to happen. Can you tell us a road story that fits that description?
Well, there's a lot of like it's not just in wrestling, it's all this live entertainment that you were bound to get these Spinal Tap moments. I remember this one time in Denmark was pretty crazy, because like the company had, the promotion had borrowed a ring from another company, but when they loaded up the ring, they kind of forgot one part to the warehouse, so like they couldn't like get the ring to stay together. So I was working the last match, and then the promoter came in and said like, okay, you guys, like the ring is not really holding up. It's been held with duct tape and bubble gum. And if you hear a ping, just leave the ring right away. I'm like, okay, so is it gonna like explode or whatever? So it was crazy. Like on the last match, like the whole roster from the backstage had to come and like manually hold the ring together while we worked the last match. So it was pretty bizarre.
And you're
stuff happens, but we could.
Oh, continue.
Yeah, stuff like that happens, but we got the show done, and you know, the audience didn't know any better, so it worked. And I've also, like, over 10 years, I arranged or promoted and booked those shows in Finland, so there's all kinds of weird stuff that happens on the live production. You really learn how to like think on your feet, because sometimes you have to just do weird stuff and fast decisions just to get the show done. And you know, that's the most important thing, that the show must go on and get it done, get the people happy. So yeah,
And
live entertainment is kind of bizarre.
I can't imagine your ears weren't open the entire match, just waiting to hear that ping.
yeah.
No ping. Did that move? No ping.
No ping.
But I imagine that this was...
Sure, but I was just...
Oh, continue.
Yeah, I wasn't really sure what I was supposed to do with that information. If you hear a ping, just leave. Just pack my bags and drive straight to the airport, I guess. That's it then. But in the end, it all worked out.
I can imagine that this was a bizarre experience. You gave somebody a pile driver onto a Volvo, no?
Yeah. I guess maybe you can check it up somewhere. Was that one another first? I don't know. Has anybody been pile drove into a Volvo or something? Maybe some American cars, but is that the first Swedish car that's been pile drove into?
For the purpose of this interview, let's say yes, it was the first.
Yeah, let's go with that.
But how did that come about?
Well, we were doing this show in Estonia. It's on the countryside in this biker motorcycle clubs, like it was their yearly party, and they wanted to have wrestling there, and we were booked to do the three-way hardcore match, and then we were like thinking what kind of gimmicks could we use, and Mick Vainula, he's the Estonian guy. Was one of the guys in the match. The guy I pile drove. He said, "Yeah, I got this old beat up trash car that we can use. It's here in the lawn." And so, oh, cool. Then I just immediately came up with the idea. Maybe we do a pile driver on the hood. I don't remember. Did I think of the pile driver? But we got to do something on top of the car, of course. So we came to that. So it was a cool spot, I think, again.
Speaking of Estonia, you was on an Estonian talk show with Starbuck one time. What was that experience like?
It was to promote that show that we had coming. What was it? Maybe a week after in Estonia, in Tallinn. I think that was cool. It was cool. They were really open to it, and like really excited to have us there. And we did like two talk shows, or these late night shows, whatever they are. They're like back to back, so they got us a little bit of screen time there, TV time. So it was really, really nice. Sometimes I think in Finland, the media has been a little bit hesitant about the wrestling to put us on give us any airtime on radios or TV spots or something. I've been on a few TV shows and talk shows and good morning shows and radio shows on Finland. So, but sometimes the media could be kind of like hesitant. What is this wrestling? And we don't want to cover it, and we don't. Is it the fake stuff and all that stuff? So,
Right.
That was a cool experience as well. It was a nice little spot we got. So,
could you tell us about what it means to you to have a Wikipedia page?
do I have a Wikipedia page? Or?
You do. You indeed have a Wikipedia page.
Okay. Well, I guess that's something. Of course, it's cool to hear that somebody like took the time and effort from their day to write some stuff up about me. So that's of course very flattering, and I'm honored to hear that there's a Wikipedia page about me. So
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
It's primarily, your wrestling history. So I mean that's good. Like it has just as many matches than cage match, I would say.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's cool, because that cage match is the place where I always go check my own matches. I try to remember what matches I had, so and when were they. So it's really cool to hear that people are keeping these sites alive, and like that cage match and Wikipedia. It takes a lot of work from a lot of people to keep that data up to date, and it's really cool that somebody values our stuff so that they see it's worthy of them to spend some time and effort to keep those records alive, because it's part of our history and kind of like wrestling cultural heritage. And if like volunteers don't keep that stuff up to date, then it will be lost forever. So
Right.
I really appreciate everybody who spends the time, kind of like you right now, who takes the time and effort to do this interview with kind of like these obscure independent wrestlers like myself. So it's really, really, really cool that you put in the effort and time to do this kind of work to keep these tales and stories alive and keep the history recorded. So thank you for that, sir.
Appreciate that, thank you. And definitely not obscure, definitely, you know, a legend in your country, I would say.
Well, I'll take that if you say it.
I mean, if there was a Finnish Wrestling Hall of Fame, I would say that you would be in it, for sure.
Okay.
Um,
I accept that.
Can you tell us about your tattoos and if there is any meaning behind them?
I think like the only one I have is like I took when I was like I have like this dragon tattoo that I took just when I turned 18 because I was thinking that tattoos were cool, of course, and that I was gonna get like my whole body tatted up and everything. So like the first tattoo I got was some like this kind of scratcher guy who did the tattoos at his home, and then there was like a kind of like his friends over when he was doing it, and it was like turning into a party, and they were like drinking beer, and the tattoo artist kept getting more drunk and drunk while he was trying to finish the tattoo. So then I was like, well, maybe we could continue this at another time and just go to the bar already. And so it kind of left like undone for a long time, like half done. And then when I was a young, stupid kid, I didn't like really take care of the healing part, so the tattoo got infected and everything, and looked kind of gross for a while. But then, of course, later, a couple of years before, like a real tattoo artist then fixed it and made it look somewhat decent. But so that was my one and only tattoo that I got. And it's not that more. The only significant story that I had was because I was like a kid and thought, yeah, tattoos are cool. Tribal tattoos are cool. And like some drunk biker guy did it on my shoulder. And that's the story of that.
So definitely not looking to get new tattoos in the future.
Maybe at some point. I have some ideas, but I would like to get some tattoos that are more like more thought of and with more meaning behind them and properly executed. But then again, it's pretty expensive to get like proper tattoos nowadays.
True.
I guess I gotta wait until I get a little bit more famous and get some sponsorship tattoos. Or just maybe do them myself with a mirror and like a CDK or something. Some prison tattoos. Yeah, but I always like the tattoos are cool, and my wife's got loads of them, and I thought maybe I at some point I wanted to have like more. And but it's just never. Let's keep it at that.
Well, you've been in multiple music videos. Can you tell us about your experience being in music videos and maybe the most memorable one you've been in?
Well, I think like those many music videos is like they need extras for the videos, and I think wrestlers are easy because we don't do anything for free, so just to get a little bit publicity for our sport. So I guess that's the main reason I got into those. But yeah, I've been doing like these short movies and a couple of TV ads and music videos and stuff like that. But with the TV and the video, thing. It's always so much like these talent shows that we've done. There's so much like just waiting on set to do your part, and then it's just a short skit that you do. So those are usually pretty long, full days, just waiting around and being prepared to do your part. So, I mean, they've been cool experiences, and it's been nice to see the finished product of the music videos. I think those video productions and those, they're not for me too much waiting around.
I think
But yeah, it's cool to have tried that.
I think that's a great segue into the colossal question. Let's say they're making a movie about you. Every movie has a soundtrack. What would be the first 3 songs on your movie soundtrack?
Well, I guess I'd have to go with some kind of pagan metal thing, like there's this Finnish band called Robbie that do this very old school sounding metal and rock. Maybe I'd have a track from them. They have this track called Ammanhauta that I used as an entrance song at some point. And I've had this my entrance or theme song has been with this another Finnish metal band called Troll, called Troll Hammer. It's the song. I've had that since like pretty much from the early years on, and it stayed with me all this time. So I had to like include that one there as well. And then I would like to get some maybe one slower track with more maybe more melancholy, slower, darker tracks. So I would throw in maybe another Finnish group that was very showing this the birth of this melodic death metal scene. I would maybe throw in Amorphis and Black Summer Day in there.
Okay. Definitely a solid 3 picks, to say the least. Now that we have the soundtrack down, everybody knows you get the soundtrack first, then you write the script, and then you go to casting.
Yeah.
Who plays you, and you can't say yourself because you are obligated to make a Stan Lee-esque cameo.
That's a good question. Maybe I would have to go with some Finnish actor, maybe like Timo Frantzen. He's a very famous Finnish actor. Or
Is that who you're going with?
Good.
Mhm.
That's a pretty good question. I gotta think about it a little bit.
Okay. Pull up that IDPM.
Maybe. I would like one of my favorite guys is this American guy, the Ron Perlman, who played the Hellboy, but I don't know if he would be the fitting one to do the Heimo gimmick.
Hey, if that's who you want, that's who we'll get. We have unlimited budget.
Okay, let's go with that one. That would be at least an interesting thing
Now,
to do.
now every movie has a supporting cast. Who would be 3 people with meaning to you and your story that would be in your movie, and who would play them?
I don't know. I think I would have to have Keanu Reeves in there because he's one of the good guys.
Okay.
You'd have to have somebody play maybe Starbuck and Starkadder as the foundation and the training for my whole wrestling journey that started. So without them, I wouldn't have gotten very far in this. I would have to get somebody to play them. I think Starbuck would want to play himself, I guess. Maybe we would put Keanu Reeves to play Starkadder. So that would be something different. That would be cool.
I'm definitely digging these casting choices for sure. So we have Starbuck, Stark. Can you name one more?
Maybe I would have somebody to play, play my wife too, because she's been such a supporting role in this whole crazy wrestling thing that I've done, because she's never held me back in anything and always supported my ambitions and whatever I tried, and always helped with everything, and never made me feel bad about missing some family days when I was doing all that wrestling stuff. And some years back I was really busy with the wrestling, wrestling almost every weekend and doing the promoting and everything. She always supported me 100%, so I have to get somebody to play her there. But now I'm kind of hesitant to say who I would like to play her, because then I would get something, so I don't get any heat at home. So.
Yeah. We could
maybe
I'll
put Gillian Anderson in there, who was like hers.
Okay.
And my wife likes her as well.
All right, going with the safe option.
That choice. Yes.
Alright. Well, this is definitely sounding like a great movie. A blockbuster to say the least. And you could pre-order the tickets now.
Yeah, that would be good. We already have all those established names down, so there's nothing to it but to do it, so.
On to a controversial subject. Pineapple on pizza. What's your stance?
I dig it. I like it because it gives a little bit freshness. Just, I like to put on some meat in there as well and salty stuff. So it gives a little bit of taste. But I think with the pizza, it's the cool thing about pizza is everybody can choose whatever they put into it. It's not my business. I don't really care what people do with their pineapples or don't do with their pineapples. Like pizza options are like assholes, Everybody has one. And, yeah, the other ones are not too interesting to me.
Okay, so pro pineapple on pizza.
Yeah, I'll put all kinds of shit on there. Why not?
Now, what's your spirit Pokemon?
Well, I think I would go Pikachu would be the safe option, I guess, because it's such an over baby face, but maybe I would go with one of those obscure ones. I like that pink gimmick, with the big tongue, or lick it up or something like that.
Licky.
That's a cool gimmick. I'll go with that one. So. Get some licky in you. So.
Okay.
Lick it tongue, or lick your tongue, something like that. The big pink gimmick with the big tongue. So let's go with that.
Now, weirdest question you'll be asked on a wrestling interview, hopefully. Would you ever consider wrestling a Rock? Not Dwayne Johnson, not the country, an actual physical Rock.
Well, I think have to think does it make any sense to the story? And like, of course, if somebody would want to pay me for that, I don't know. I would have to think about it, but I do appreciate these gimmicks that you see. Sometimes some people are like wrestling like a blow-up doll or invisible opponent or something like that. But for me, the wrestling is more. It's my lifestyle art form, and I love it. And I always try to make my matches to make sense. Everything that we do in the ring has to make sense and has to be believable, because people want to suspend their disbelief for that couple of hours for that show. That's why you are there. Because you want to immerse yourself in that thing. You want to get your money's worth in a way that you immerse yourself in the show, and you are interested in the outcome of the match, like who wins and who loses. And if you throw in like a joke match like that into the card, and it just blows all the hard work of others away. So yeah, I don't think I would do that kind of shit gimmick. So that's not for me. I like to do like something like a light-hearted comedy things that make people laugh in a match. That's a different thing. But just to make a joke of the whole thing and make the whole thing look like fake joke, throwaway asshole stuff. That's not for me. I wouldn't do that, and I wouldn't allow that on my shows, on my cards, anyways.
I gotcha.
But then again, it depends if somebody would like to pay me some real money on that. But why would somebody?
Well, just for context, there is a wrestler named Psycho Mike that indeed wrestled a Rock for over 15 minutes in a Tungsten Man match. That's an Iron Man match that lasts for 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, good for him, I guess. Hope he got the Rock over.
Oh, he definitely did. On a more serious note, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Well, now I feel like the career is kind of like revitalized. Did a little bit of like a comeback to the FCF after being away for 5 or so years, and like the people really welcomed me back, not just in the locker room, but in the audience as well. So I'm really having much fun right now, and like things seem to be picking up again, because I'm doing a lot of shows this summer, and going to Italy, since I haven't been there for a long time, and also Stockholm is again now in the works, just to make that happen. So things are looking really nice, and I'm enjoying the craft again. So not that I like lost the joy of it at any point, but I'm really enjoying where I am at now, and now going to FCF after a break. There's a lot of like new guys that I'm looking forward to get the chance to work with, and all kinds of new possibilities coming up. So yeah, I hope there's like positive momentum stays for at least 5 years, and maybe then when it starts to like feel sucky and maybe if I get some kind of injury that forces me out, then I'll hang my boots, but I don't think I'll ever like fully retire from the sport. I will always be at least like supporting and maybe working some role in the organization or backstage or coach or whatever is required, or whatever role I could provide some value into. So at least I will always stay a fan. So I don't see any retirement plans soon. Hopefully well, ask me again in 5 years and we'll see. But at the moment, I'm really having a blast.
All right. Well, penciling it in right now. Interview Heimos in 5 years.
Yeah, you can put that down. I guess I gotta start wrapping things up, but did you have something in mind that you still wanted to ask quickly?
Yeah. Let's get into we are wrestling with the 8 questions of doom. This is our speed round or bonus round, the round where we see who you really are. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Excluding yourself, greatest wrestler of all time.
Kurt Angle.
Worst wrestler.
Or let's Kurt Angle or Scott Steiner. I can't decide.
Fair enough. Worst wrestler.
Worst. I don't know. I haven't wrestled all of them.
Would you like the default answer?
I don't want to bury anybody. It's not my place to say. Everybody's trying their best, at least at some point, I think.
Would you like the default answer?
Sorry, what?
Would you like the default answer? The answer you just go with when you don't have an answer.
Yeah, let's go with that.
You have chosen Eva Marie.
Okay.
You're main eventing WrestleMania for the World Championship. Who is your opponent?
Can it be somebody from the current roster, or can it be anybody from
anybody you want?
Let's go with maybe some of those childhood heroes. I'll go with Jake Roberts.
Hell yeah. If you
or
yeah.
Or maybe Jake Roberts or Ted DiBiase, I'd say. Maybe a triple threat or a tag match.
If you could come out,
I'd go me and Jake Roberts against Ted DiBiase and maybe Scott Hall. Let's go with that.
If you could come out to anyone's entrance music, past or present, who would it be?
Well, I always thought that was really cool that what Hulk Hogan used at some point. He used that Voodoo Child from Hendrix, so that's a cool tune. Let's go with that.
Finish the sentence. Kayfabe is...
kind of cool, I guess.
We would have also accepted taste great on toast. Squash, vegetable or fruit?
I haven't the slightest idea. Something eatable, I guess.
You know what? I'll accept that answer. New Japan wrestler Tai Chi. His ring gear gets smaller every year, revealing more of himself to the world. My question, what is the appropriate trunks to butt cheek ratio for ring gear?
Yeah, that's a Quick question. I'd say this is an upper body business, so. But I guess now it's getting more into that lower body region. So I take like maybe 50% off. That's good enough.
Okay.
Let's see, half of the ass or the whole ass. I'd say nothing or everything or nothing. Let's say that like that.
And the last question, the main event, the thing everybody wants to know. Have you ever had a conversation with a stranger in a supermarket about Darby Allin?
No, I think it's more of a American thing. Or do you mean like roller derby? I think that's the one that they do the skates, right? The gimmick with the skates.
I mean, unfortunately, it's not a thing that's happened in America often either.
Okay.
So, yeah. But that is the correct answer. And that will conclude this interview. Thank you so much for coming on and doing this with me.
Thank you. It was fun.
Absolutely. And once again, where can we find you on social media and your merchandise?
It's I think the one that you can, the most active is the Wildman Heimo on Instagram. And if you Google the wrestler Heimo the Wildman, I think that stuff will pop up. I used to have a lot of those social accounts, but I'm feeling I'm too old for that shit. Maybe I'll go with the one with the Instagram for now. That's fun.
Fair enough.
I can keep up with everything. I try to upload stuff on YouTube, but that's been like lacking for a while. But I've uploaded a lot of older matches to YouTube as well. So that's like where people can now find some stuff. And yeah, it's also cool that FCF has that launched this streaming service. It's called showpiny.tv that people can log on and see our shows and see our matches and keep adding all those older stuff in there as well. So again, it's very cool that people are keeping alive this so-called cultural heritage and our Finnish wrestling history. So they're keeping it alive. So go check that wrestling.fi. That's where you'll find all those links to all the wrestlers' socials and also that streaming service. So that's where you'll find my stuff as well.
Definitely. And you don't have to type it into your Google machine. All of the links to all his social media will be in the description of the video below, but on YouTube and Castbox. Simply click the link, a new tab will appear on whatever device you are on. You have no excuse. Give them a damn follow. Of course, thank you for listening. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment, both on YouTube and Castbox. This was sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. Join us next Tuesday and Wednesday for new incredible interviews, and follow the show at Wrestling with E, but on X, Thread, and Instagram for information on who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing them, links to those interviews, and so much more. Follow me personally at JamesJ993. Alright, when I say wrestling wit, you say entertainment, okay?
Okay.
For our special guests, Heimo, Kaliko Yacht, Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling with
Entertainment.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.